In this episode, Jim talks about the number 1, number 2, and number 3 cash flow mistakes that people make. Honestly, I learned so much in this episode. As someone who's been a business owner for 15 years, I've learned so much. So stay tuned. I believe you're really going to learn something valuable that you can apply today.
How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet.
Welcome to the Rethink Sales Show. My name is Derek Kelly. I am joined by Jim Shorkey and Marshall Siamahu in the back. Sometimes we fire questions at Marshall. He's like the extra audience.
And he never knows the answers, ever. Yeah. He has to Google everything. But
Jim knows the answers, but Jim here, if you're new to us, Jim is not rehearsed. This is not planned. This is spontaneous, extemporaneous. This is Jim sharing from the heart.
Yeah. And my formal name is now Jim Google Shorkey, thanks to Marshall.
Oh my God.
Google. I'm Mr. Google.
So, Jim, something we were talking about in the previous episode was the importance of having cash on hand.
Yes.
So, along those lines, what is a common cash flow mistake that people make that maybe they're unaware of, or they think it might be wisdom? What do you see as, what does that look like?
I think the most common mistake that is made in a business in general is tying up cash in what would appear to be assets. And with assets, there's a way to look at them in terms of turn, okay?
Yeah.
For example, I know I'm selling 10 of these a month. That would be the asset, right? These assets a month. And so if I have 10 on hand, that means I have a 30-day supply.
Yep.
If I have 20 on hand, then I have a
adding on to what we
60-day
talked
supply.
about. Yeah, keep going.
But making it 60-day supply is sucking up cash, okay? And then when I have assets that aren't turning properly, it's called aged inventory. That's a big cash suck.
Yeah, that makes
so
sense.
if I have, again, I'm back to my 10, and then I start to look at aging. Wow, these last 3 here, they're just not moving. What's going on? So we're going to look at them. We find out there's a couple little things that need to be fixed, and we do all that. And we still can't get them out of there. At some point, those assets have no value at all, or very little. They depreciate. Your assets will depreciate. And typically with us, it was a 60-day supply of whatever. And when it went beyond that, you started to lose cash, okay? And then when you got to the aging part, it wasn't that they became valueless. I said that the wrong way.
Right.
But they do become worth less money.
Yes.
And we have to cut the price to get them out.
And they cost you something to maintain and keep.
So there's a lot of, they're called carrying costs. And so we think that assets are this very valuable thing, and they can be until they age.
Yeah.
And so that would be one mistake I see people making, is tying up cash unnecessarily in assets. And in order to avoid that mistake, you got to know what you're selling. You got to know how many you need.
Yeah, you said unnecessarily, which means you have to be intentional.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because unnecessarily means you didn't need to do that, but you did for some reason.
Why are you stocking all these bananas when your customers want apples? And when you stock the right number of apples, you're selling apples like crazy and doing good. You got these bananas over here that aren't moving, and they're sucking you dry. They are. You got to be aware. The idea behind running a mature sales organization. Now, hold drum roll. This is going to be a big secret, gang.
He's building the hype.
Excuse me. Listen, this is really profound. Figure out what your customers want and then provide it for them. Talk about an ingenious idea, okay?
Yeah.
And figure out what they don't want. They just don't want this. And stop trying to push it on them. They don't want it. It's so much harder to push something on somebody, to sell something that they don't want versus something that they do want. So if it's apples, stock more apples and expand your market, because if there's 10 people that like the apples, maybe there's 20. And then look at those darn bananas and say, let's have a fire selling of bananas, get rid of them. But don't make the mistake again. Don't go buy more bananas. That's what a lot of people do. So let's buy more bananas because I got a great deal on the bananas. Great. Your customers don't want bananas. They want apples. So I'd rather pay too much for something that my customers want than too little for something that they don't want. It's just a much harder sell to make. So I would say that's a big mistake that people make is they're just not stocking the right product, which creates long-term cash drain.
Yeah.
Another mistake that I think people make is they don't really understand that cash is king. They don't understand cash flow. And so how important is it to control money out?
Oh, it's crucial because
Crucial.
if you don't, you're not going to know what's coming out.
No, to control it though.
Yeah.
To keep it as low as we can within reason.
Right.
And what I'm saying here is that this will be the expense portion of it, number one. There's other aspects, but number one is expenses. So are we spending money unnecessarily?
Yeah.
That's money out.
Yeah.
I love magazines too, but nobody's even opened up one of these magazines. Cancel the subscription. Get rid of it. Are there things that you're doing that are not bringing you a return on investment? A mistake that a lot of people are going to make. So that's would be one. Another one is, I want to hit this again. Buying assets. So we talked about the bananas and the apples, but other stuff as well. We have to buy this piece of shop equipment. That's, quote, an asset. So we buy it. Nobody knows how to use it. They're not using it, but it's there and it's draining. The cash is gone.
Aspirational asset. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it's gone.
This would have been cool.
Real estate's a great one. Do you really need this big of a building? What is the utilization factor on your building? It's 100%. Okay, time to maybe consider a new building then. But it's 50%. You don't need a new building. You need to utilize the one you have on a higher percentage basis. Use the facility to the very highest utilization that you can. And to think otherwise is, again, a cash drain. So I would say that's another mistake. That's almost a misuse of assets. Number two, buying assets that we don't need would be number two. Not controlling expenses would be number three. Not understanding aging of assets will be number four. We got to get rid of these old assets. They don't go up in value. They really don't. I don't care what anybody says. They don't. Not typically. And we're talking typical. I understand gold and silver and all that. Sure. I get that. I have a feeling that's not your concern. So assets typically depreciate. Okay. You need to know that. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
There's
really,
probably one or two
really
more
well.
I could think of, but I think those
Yeah,
are
really
critical mistakes that we make as business people.
Really well. Yeah. Wow.
Find out what people want and provide it and charge them for it. Another mistake people make on cash is giving stuff away, giving discounts. Why? Why are you doing that? Why don't you present the product, tell the client what you're asking for it, and what do you think they're going to say when you tell them what you're asking for it?
Oh, they either say yes or they'll say that's too high.
And most of the time, they're going to say it's too high. And you have to have a rationale for
Why you made me.
why you're asking this amount for, why it's worth what you're asking. And that would involve having a sales training process. We're going to teach our people how to ask for the price and defend the price. And if we have the right process in place for the training, then we will get what we want for our products more often than not. So many times you'll have, and you tell your people have to understand, you don't cut the price. This is what I want. This is why. And your job is to go out and sell the product, create a lot of value, and then tell them what you want. And then defend that price. But so many times you'll see, I've had people offer me discounts. I'm not even asking for a discount. And I'm different in that regard. I tell them point blank, please, I don't want a discount. Give it to somebody else. Find somebody who is in need and give them my discount. I'm not in need. I'm really not. And I don't feel right taking a discount when I really don't need it. I went and got my haircut today, it was $30. I didn't ask for a discount. I don't want a discount. I gave more. I gave a gratuity. It was $30 to do the whole thing. And I think that's reasonable. I paid it. I'm happy. I left a gratuity. I don't do that. If you want to do that, fine. That's okay. It's none of my business. But I don't. I never, ever ask for a discount. You're Jim Shorkey. No. Give it to somebody else, please. I beg you. Give it to this guy over here. Not Derek. I don't mean it that way. Yeah. A lot of times I'll be in line, and I was in line one time, and a guy was a veteran, a very old man, and we were at the drugstore, and he was getting his medicine. And it was a certain amount of money, and he was like crestfallen. And I got the girl. I said, I didn't say anything else. And she said to the man, makes me cry. She said, sir, it's taken care of. Why? What? I said, no, I don't want any acknowledgement. And I got up to the thing. I gave her my credit card. I paid for it and along with what I owed. And I never, ever said I didn't say a word to the man. Not a word. I didn't come up and say, hey, I'm Jim Shorkey. No, I didn't say a word. He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know who did it. And I prefer it that way. And sometimes they will call me out and I'll tell them that I appreciate their service, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
I think our elderly, which I'm 69, but I think that I do. I think that the 80-year-old that's struggling, I want to help. I truly do. And many times I've bought and I love the veterans. I have so much regard for the veterans. And I always, I try to do something special for them. And I'll be in line and I'll see this veteran and I'll say, I got you, man. I got you. And I do. Sometimes you have to call it out because it's a weird situation. That's what the drug thing. I was able to get her attention. I said, and she knew what I was doing. She knew who I was, and there was nothing more said. And I get up there and I paid for it and I went about my business. And I felt so good about that because you know what? I have so much. And you could tell, I read body language. This guy was just crestfallen. He didn't have the dough. Could he pay the bill? Of course he could. But who knows? Maybe that means he doesn't eat dinner tonight. So when people offer me discounts, this one's on the house, please, no, give it to somebody else. I don't want it. I really don't. I'm fine. It's nice of you to offer because you've been here 5 times this week. This one's on the house. No, I don't accept it. And I don't mean that to be arrogant or like I have so much money that I can do these kind of things. But I just feel like it's better to let somebody, as the next person that comes in that's in need, you take care of them for me. We do it and just take care of them. And I'm good with that.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. You can hear Jim talk throughout this episode about the importance of cash flow, about the importance of understanding your assets in terms of how to not misuse them and how to use them properly in terms of their depreciation. And you just hear Jim move through different thought processes of how this works. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, guys. Please leave a dolphin emoji in the comments if you made it to the end. We'd love